Putting this list together took me actual days, and every time I thought I was finally done, I'd catch myself asking the same dumb question. If I were Spider-Man, which one of these guys would I genuinely run screaming from? My first answer was, none of them. I'm Spider-Man. I'm built different. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Because here's the truth. Some of the characters on this list don't just scare me when I picture being Spider-Man. They creep me out just reading the comics, just watching the cartoons. Some of these guys are the stuff of actual nightmares, and we're counting them down today from 9 all the way to 1. So if you're into the dark corners of Spider-Man's world, the stuff that doesn't make it into the fun family movies, hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel out. And drop your own ranking in the comments while we go. I genuinely want to see who scares you the most. Alright, let's get into it. Number 9. Electro. Okay, hear me out on this one, because most people sleep on Electro. Max Dillon is a guy who can basically become living electricity. He can travel through any wire, any power line, any outlet. And here's where it gets scary when you really think about it. We live in a world where every single person is carrying a phone in their pocket, right? Every home is wired. Every city runs on electricity. A fully powered Electro could theoretically surge through all of it at once. Imagine a guy who could reach into every device on the planet at the same time. That's not a bank robber. That's a walking disaster. And in the comics, when Electro hits his peak, he's lit up entire cities and shut down all of New York. We just usually see him as a B-list guy because writers are too scared to let him off the leash. Honestly, probably for the best. Number 8. Mysterio. Now this one's a different kind of terrifying. Quentin Beck looks goofy, fishbowl on his head, green cape, the whole thing. But what Mysterio does to you is a nightmare, in the most literal sense. He traps you in illusions so convincing you can't tell what's real anymore. Picture being stuck in a dream you can't wake up from, where the ground isn't the ground and your own eyes are lying to you. And look, I did not love Far From Home, but I'll give them this. That scene where they had Spider-Man stumbling through Mysterio's illusion and he gets clipped by a train? Chef's kiss. They nailed how disorienting this guy is. In the comics, he's done even crazier stuff. He once convinced Spider-Man that he'd shrunk down to tiny size, and another time staged an entire fake alien invasion just to mess with his head. Mysterio doesn't beat your body, he breaks your mind, and that's so much worse. Quick question for you. What's the first villain you'd want me to do a full deep dive on? Drop a name below. I read every comment and I'm always hunting for the next video. Number 7. The Jackal. Miles Warren, the Jackal. And this guy represents a fear that hits different because he goes after who you are. He's a mad scientist obsessed with cloning, and his whole thing is messing with Spider-Man's identity. He made clones of Peter. He brought back twisted copies of people Peter had lost. He's the brain behind the infamous clone saga, the storyline that had Peter literally questioning whether he was the real Peter Parker or just a copy. Think about that for a second. Imagine someone making you doubt whether you're even you. No powers required, just pure psychological horror in a lab coat. Number 6. Green Goblin. Alright, you knew he'd be here. Norman Osborn. A lot of people call him Spider-Man's greatest enemy, and yeah, there's a reason. Norman isn't scary because he's the strongest. He's scary because he made it personal. He figured out who Peter was. He went after the people Peter loved. And he did the one thing that changed Spider-Man forever. The moment with Gwen Stacy that I won't go into detail on, but anyone who knows, knows. That moment broke Peter in a way he never fully recovered from. The Goblin is the villain who proved that the people closest to you are never truly safe. And honestly, a cackling rich guy who knows your address and your weak spots, that's a real-world kind of terrifying. Number 5. Carnage and Venom. Now we're cooking. So Venom on his own is already a nightmare. That living alien suit, the teeth, the way it hunts. But here's a piece of it most casual fans don't know. The symbiotes have what's basically a hive mind. They're all connected, like a network, which means the Venom symbiote can sense its offspring, communicate across them, and even share knowledge between them. Think about how scary that actually is. It means killing one doesn't really end anything, because they're all part of one bigger consciousness. There's a whole storyline where this hive connection nearly lets the symbiotes take over the entire planet at once. Every host linked into a single will. An enemy that's never truly alone. That's part of something much bigger and much older than you. That alone should freak you out. But then you take that and you give it to Cletus Cassidy, and you get Carnage. And Carnage is a whole other level. Cletus was already one of the worst criminals around before he ever bonded with the red symbiote. So you've got a guy with zero limits, fused with an alien that craves chaos. Venom at least lives by some kind of code. Carnage has no code, no plan, no reason. He just wants to watch everything burn. Spider-Man has literally had to team up with Venom just to stop him. Let that sink in. The monster is so bad that the other monster becomes the good guy. Alright, we're past the halfway point, and this is where it stops being fun and starts being genuinely disturbing. These last 3 are the ones that actually keep me up. Stick with me. Number 4. Sandman. Okay, real talk. I think Sandman might secretly be one of the deadliest villains Spider-Man has ever faced, and I'm putting him at 4 just so I don't get absolutely roasted in the comments. But hear me out. This is a man made of sand. Sand. Think about what that actually means. He can turn into a fine dust and get into your body, through your mouth, your nose, anywhere. And once he's inside you, it's over. There's this comic, Marvel Zombies Return, where a terrified Sandman kills a Spider-Man by forcing his sand down his throat and filling him up from the inside until, well, I'll let you imagine it, but it is genuinely one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in a Spider-Man book. And here's the thing, there is nobody he can't do that to. The only reason he doesn't is a lack of imagination. Remember in No Way Home when the Sandman trapped Toby's Spider-Man inside the Statue of Liberty and Toby looked kinda claustrophobic? Forget all that. This is a guy who can become a giant kaiju-sized monster, or a fine mist that fills your lungs. He's basically never shown at his true potential, and thank God, because if a writer ever let Sandman go all out, nobody in that city is walking away. So let me ask you, halfway through, who's scaring you the most so far? Be honest in the comments, and hit that like button if you're enjoying this. It genuinely helps more than you'd think. Number 3. Kindred. Now we're in true nightmare territory. Kindred is one of Spider-Man's newest villains, and easily one of the most horrifying. Picture a creature that crawls out of the underworld, covered in centipedes, with a personal grudge against you. And what does Kindred do? He kills Peter Parker. Over and over and over again. And every single time, he brings him right back to life, just so he can do it again. Worse, with every death, he forces Peter to relive the loss of everyone he ever failed to save. It's not a fight, it's torture. And the gut punch reveal? Kindred is tied to someone from Peter's past, someone who was once his closest friend. Imagine your best friend coming back from a very dark place, just to put you through endless suffering. That's not a supervillain plot, that's a horror movie. Number 2. The Spot. Yeah, I know, the Spot. The guy covered in polka dots that everyone laughed at for decades. Jonathan Owen was treated as a total joke villain for years, and then Across the Spider-Verse came out and completely reinvented him, and suddenly nobody was laughing. Because here's what the Spot can actually do. Those spots on his body? They're portals. He can reach into one and his hand comes out anywhere he wants. Across the room, across the city, across dimensions. Think about fighting someone like that. You can't hit him, your fist just disappears into a hole, but he can hit you from any angle, any distance, any time. There's nowhere you can run where he can't reach through and grab you, and the scariest part is, he keeps getting stronger, learning to control it, until he becomes a genuine multiversal threat, a villain you literally cannot escape from. That's nightmare fuel. And number 1, Morlun. If there's one Spider-Man villain who belongs in a straight-up horror movie, it's this guy. Morlun is an ancient, near-immortal being, and he has exactly one purpose, to hunt down spider totems, meaning Spider-Man and everyone like him, and drain the life right out of them. He first showed up back in 2001, and from his very first appearance he felt less like a supervillain and more like a predator that had been stalking prey since the dawn of time. According to the lore, as long as there have been spider-powered beings, there have been things that feed on them. Morlun is one of those things. And he doesn't just go after Peter, he hunts every Spider-Man, across every universe. Him and his family, the Inheritors, came terrifyingly close to wiping out every single spider hero in existence during the Spider-Verse storyline. But here's the detail that earns him the top spot. Morlun actually killed Spider-Man, for real. Peter himself said, and I quote, "Nothing had ever hit him that hard. You can't outrun him, because he can track you anywhere. You can't really kill him, because he keeps coming back, and he is never, ever full." Imagine being hunted by something that sees you not as an enemy, but as a meal. That's Morlun, and that's why he's number 1. So there it is. 9 villains, each one a different flavor of nightmare. Electro could fry the world, Mysterio breaks your mind, the Jackal steals your identity, Kindred tortures your soul, and Morlun, well, Morlun just wants to eat you. And maybe that's the real reason Spider-Man is such a hero. Because he faces every single one of these nightmares, loses, hurts, gets back up, puts the mask back on, and swings right back into the dark. Most of us would run, he never does. So now I want to hear from you. Which one of these scared you the most? And who did I leave off that you think deserved a spot? Drop your own ranking down below. Let's argue about it. And if you want more lists like this, tell me what corner of Marvel I should dig into next. Subscribe so we can keep this spider family growing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Sleep tight, and maybe keep a light on.